It was supposed to be a symbolic day in American history, a celebration of freedom, patriotism, and the official relaunch of Donald J. Trump's campaign tour, newly energized after his court victories and political resurgence. The rally was set in Houston, Texas, a Trump stronghold, where thousands of red-capped supporters had gathered for what was expected to be a routine display of nationalist fervor, anti-immigrant rhetoric, and dramatic slogans. Yet, what began as a familiar spectacle of American populism took a turn so strange, so unexpected, that it now sits atop every global headline. At exactly 2:47 p.m. local time, while Donald Trump stood mid-sentence lambasting globalist forces and praising American exceptionalism, a military helicopter with foreign insignia landed abruptly in the open field adjacent to the stadium. Out stepped Captain Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso's 36-year-old revolutionary leader, in full military regalia, chest armored, beret tilted, eyes burning with conviction. To those watching live, it felt surreal. No warning, no press leak, no known diplomatic mission, just a silent figure walking through the crowd, surrounded by panicked gasps, as Secret Service scrambled and Trump himself went silent for the first time in years. The Trump rally had begun like every other: fireworks, country music, chants of USA, USA, and the arrival of Trump's private jet flying overhead like a divine omen. He emerged waving from the red, white, and blue stage, embraced by chants of 4 more years and drain the swamp. Folks, Trump began with a smirk, they told me I shouldn't come here today. They said, Mr. Trump, you've already won the hearts of Texas. But I said no, we have to keep fighting. For America, for God, and against these corrupt globalists who want to erase our borders. He continued uninterrupted for 30 minutes, jabbing at Biden, the media, and international leaders he called weak puppets. Then came the line that would ironically cue the greatest disruption of his political career. You know, they say America's too involved in foreign affairs, Trump said. But let me tell you, we've got the strength to fix Burkina Faso, Sudan, Venezuela, all of them. We are the world's police again. Suddenly, there was a rumble, not from the crowd, but from the sky. The rumble grew louder, drowning out even Trump's microphone. Cameras tilted upward. Phones captured a military-grade helicopter descending from the clouds, flying lower and lower until the dust storm. It kicked up, forced rallygoers to shield their eyes and back away. The crowd scattered. Some shouted, some pointed, some ran. Security scrambled. Agents began moving Trump off the stage, but he waved them off, confused and unafraid, until the figure emerged from the smoke, wearing a green and brown camouflage uniform with red shoulder taps. Captain Ibrahim Traoré stepped forward. No one understood what they were seeing. Was this a planned stunt, a movie shoot, a rogue military action? But the silence of the military man, his authoritative walk through the trembling crowd, and the sheer audacity of it all left no room for doubt. This was real. He approached the stage and challenged. The Secret Service formed a wall, guns raised. Traoré raised his hands calmly and spoke his first words in English. I come not with war, but with truth. And truth must not wait. As Traoré advanced toward the stage, the tension in the air became palpable. The crowd, still reeling from the appearance of the helicopter, fell into a stunned silence. Some speculated it was a stunt for a new political campaign. Others thought it might be an international protest. But there was something undeniably different about this moment. This man wasn't here for spectacle. He wasn't here to garner attention for a cause. He was here for something much larger, an interruption that would rattle the very foundations of American politics. The Secret Service acted quickly, forming a barricade around Trump, who, despite his bravado, seemed visibly shaken. The agents, who were accustomed to threats of every kind, found themselves confronted by something entirely unpredictable: an armed foreign military leader, in full combat gear, walking toward them with the calm determination of a man on a mission. Stop right there, one of the agents yelled, his voice sharp with authority, yet tremulous with fear. But Traoré didn't flinch. He stopped just inches from the first line of security, his intense gaze locked on Trump, who stood behind his protection, glaring at him with confusion and increasing anger. I've come to tell you something, Traoré said, his voice booming over the loudspeakers, silencing the noise of the crowd. But first, I want you to understand why I'm here. Trump's eyes narrowed as he stepped forward, defying the agents who tried to block his path. Who do you think you are, coming onto my stage like this? Trump sneered, his voice filled with bravado but edged with a growing sense of unease. You don't come to America and disrupt my rally. I don't know what kind of stunt this is, but you'll regret it. Regret, Traoré said, his lips curling slightly. Regret is the luxury of the weak. What I am here to offer is clarity, not regret. The world needs to know what's coming, and America needs to hear it from me. Whether you like it or not. Trump shot a look toward his handlers, his mind clearly racing. This was no ordinary protester or heckler. This man was military, calm, and dangerous, but he wasn't entirely sure how to respond. Without warning, Traoré stepped forward, his boots heavy on the platform as he moved toward Trump, brushing aside Secret Service agents who were now struggling to maintain control. His eyes, burning with urgency and a sharp sense of purpose, never left Trump. Trump's face reddened as Traoré's words took root in the air. He wasn't used to being lectured, especially not by someone so unfamiliar, so foreign, standing in front of him with the audacity to speak as though he knew something Trump didn't. What does Africa have to do with me? Trump snapped, raising his voice in anger. I'm here to fix America, not to be lectured by some dictator. Dictator. Traoré's voice was calm but laced with conviction. You mistake leadership for power. Mr. Trump, true leadership is not about bending others to your will. It is about shaping a future for all, not just the rich and powerful. As the words hung in the air, the audience's reaction was mixed. Some still held onto their phones, recording every second of this surreal confrontation, while others whispered among themselves, unsure how to react. A few supporters seemed stunned, even disoriented, by the audacity of this foreign leader barging onto the stage. Trump, regaining some of his trademark swagger, laughed bitterly. You think you can come into my country, on my stage, and tell me how to run things? You don't know a thing about America. I've been the one who's made America great again. Traoré's gaze didn't waver. And I've seen what your greatness has cost the world. Wars, sanctions, exploitation. You may have built an empire, Mr. Trump, but you've built it on the backs of the oppressed. My people know that. Africa knows that. At this moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. The usual cheers and chants of Trump's rallies were replaced by an eerie silence, broken only by the faint hum of the helicopter still hovering in the distance. The crowd could sense that this was no longer a political rally. It was a turning point, a confrontation between two radically different visions for the world, one built on dominance and one built on defiance. As the standoff continued, a ripple of realization began to spread across the crowd. What was happening here wasn't just a disruption, it was a message, and Traoré was making sure that message was heard by anyone who had the courage to listen. As Captain Ibrahim Traoré stood calmly on the stage with his hands raised, the atmosphere crackled with tension. Secret Service agents, now surrounding him from all sides, were caught in a dilemma they had never faced before. A foreign head of state had breached the perimeter of a presidential candidate, live on national television, without a single shot fired. Behind the scenes, communication lines buzzed, earpieces crackled with overlapping commands. The president had been briefed, the Pentagon was watching, Air Force One had been alerted. Intelligence analysts were scrambling to verify whether this was a rogue action or part of a larger plan. Do we detain him? One agent asked sharply through his mic. He's a sitting foreign leader, another snapped. We can't just tackle him on live TV, unless he makes a threatening move. Trump, meanwhile, was still on the stage, fuming. His arms waved in agitation as he pointed at Traoré. What are you waiting for? He shouted. Arrest him. He broke into our country. He interrupted my speech. But the agents hesitated. Traoré wasn't resisting. He wasn't armed. And he wasn't running. His posture remained composed, even dignified, as if daring them to make the first aggressive move. His calmness was unnerving. Traoré slowly turned to face the crowd, his voice now amplified by the stage's sound system. I do not come with war. I came to speak what your leaders hide. If I am to be silenced for it, let the world see how truth is treated on American soil. There was a chilling silence across the field. Trump, realizing he was losing control of the moment, grabbed the microphone from its stand. This man is dangerous. He's part of some plot, maybe with China or Iran, who knows. He's violating every law we've got, and we're standing here letting it happen. But even among Trump's closest aides, uncertainty lingered. Arresting a foreign military leader without clear Legal authority could trigger international backlash. It could be interpreted as an act of war. And more importantly, it would give Traoré exactly what he wanted, to be seen as a martyr of global truth. The agents, hearing the order, moved in a different rhythm. No handcuffs, no guns drawn, just a tight protective circle. One agent whispered to Traoré, "Sir, you need to leave this area with us now." Traoré nodded, already expecting it. "Lead the way." As they walked him off the stage, the crowd erupted, as some cheered, some booed, and others just stood in disbelief. A few Trump supporters tried to push through the barricade, shouting things like "traitor" and "arrest him now," but the agents kept them back. Trump was left standing on the stage, microphone in hand, red-faced and visibly rattled. "This is what they want," he barked. "Foreign soldiers walking into our rallies. This is Biden's America." But his words felt hollow.